What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, as of today, the charges were dropped against Carlishia Hood and her 14-year-old son. This is the mother and son who were involved in an incident where the man hit his mother and the young 14-year-old boy killed the man, right? And so in retrospect, after rewatching the video, something that I don't know how I didn't hear this the first time around. I heard the woman say, "Get back in the car." So it seemed to be she was telling her son to get back in the car. So with me hearing that, I would believe that it probably was false that she told him to come into the car and shoot and kill a man, if she's telling him to get back in the car at the situation. It's possible, very possible, that the son heard his mother getting into an altercation with a man in the store. He recognized his mother's voice. They parked close to the Maxwell where you can hear what's going on inside of the restaurant. He heard it and came in there to see what was going on with his mom. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, 14-year-old me, I don't know if I would have grabbed a gun. I don't know. But I know 30-year-old me, hell, 18, 20-some-year-old me, probably would have done that. I don't even handle guns to protect my mom. And I'm not going to even lie, y'all. You beat on my mama? Yeah, it's probably warranted that you get put down. It's probably warranted that you get put down. Now, with all of this going on, the charges have been dropped. Hopefully the young man can recover from the trauma he experienced from the situation. I know I can look at that young man and tell he's not the type of kid. And again, sometimes looks can be deceiving, but he doesn't seem to be the type of kid that want to kill somebody. And taking somebody's life, even if it's in defense of your mother, it can still be a traumatic experience for you to know that you had to pull the trigger on a grown man who was violent and causing severe physical violence to your mom. Okay? So, creating physical violence on you, causing physical violence, physical harm, to your mom. I know that can be traumatic for sure. But in the wake of that video, I heard people saying this. People saying, how could these grown men watch another grown man beat on a woman and not do nothing? Why didn't these grown men in the store intervene and try to stop him and prevent him from hitting her more? Why didn't they try to break it up and stop the situation or whoop on the dude's ass? So let me just say this. I'm going to speak about men being weary of stopping physical violence when a man is attacking a woman or so on and so forth. Let me say this. See, in Chicago, Illinois, and it may not be is going to sound bad when I say this. In Chicago, Illinois, majority of these men carrying guns. They happen in Chicago. A lot of these men are carrying guns. A lot of these men are high majority of the time in the hood. They off a pill or two or three. Okay? And these men are emotionally, as you can see, that man was not emotionally intelligent. He was an abuser. That type of behavior is not something that comes out of the blue. That man was abusing women on the regular. You can tell. That was what he did. That was what he done. That was what he did. He did that on a regular basis. Right? And so when men see these altercations, they know that if they intervene a lot of times, it's a likelihood that they might die in this exchange. They may get killed. You know, their life may be taken from them by this man who does not care about this woman, so he damn sure not gonna give a fuck about you, right? And so there's been instances in Chicago. A matter of fact, 2006, I believe, young man by the name of Blair Holt. Y'all can look this up on Google. Blair Holt was a young boy at Julian High School. His mother was a Chicago police officer. Blair was on the bus coming home. He never rode the bus home, hardly ever. His mother was working later. She had something to do. She told her son, Blair, take the bus home instead. I can't come get you. Go take the bus home. Blair gets on the bus. He sees a girl. I think he knew the girl or something like that. Or he may not have knew the girl. I think he may have knew the girl. She's getting into an altercation with a man on the bus. He's trying to protect his friend from getting hands put on her or some type of violence being committed against her. He tries to stop it. The man who's getting into the altercation with the woman, he shoots and kills Blair Holt on the bus. Blair was probably like 15 or 16 years old. I know it was 2006. I wasn't in high school yet. I started high school in 2007. So, yeah, Blair Holt got killed that day on the bus trying to defend a woman, right? And although Blair was courageous, he was noble, you know, he was valiant, for sure. It ended with his life being taken and his mother losing her son. So there is a fear from a lot of men that if they intervene, they will be killed and they won't be able to return home to their children. So, you know, who's going to take care of their children when they're gone? Some people say somebody will take care of your kids. We don't know that to be true. And furthermore, a lot of men want to be there to take care of their children, not let someone else do that for them, right? So a lot of men are afraid to not come home to their families. And there's some women, being real, let's be for real. Let's just say a man intervenes in certain situations like that and he gets killed. There are some women, the women of that man, who will say, baby, you should have just left it alone. Don't intervene in that. That has nothing to do with you. We need you to come home. We need you to be with us. So it's a slippery slope. Because on one angle, on the other turn of things, I can imagine if that was my mom and I'm not nowhere around, I would hope that the men around would stand up for her and protect her from this vile individual. So it's a slippery slope, because me as a man, I wouldn't be able to stomach seeing a woman getting hit and beat like that. Not at this age, I wouldn't be able to. You know, and some say, well, what can you do? Certain things probably could have, a certain type of man could have possibly been able to de-escalate the situation. But who knows, because that man did not seem to be a rational brother. He didn't. He did not seem to be a rational man. He seemed like a man who was completely irrational, emotionally. He wasn't emotionally intelligent. He was just belligerent. He was disrespectful. He had no regard for no type of woman at all. The way he hit her, you can tell. Telling her to keep talking and he gonna knock her out. He didn't give a fuck about no woman, for real. You know, so it may have been no stopping him, right? But it also speaks to a bigger thing, and the responsibility that us men have when it comes to policing our friends. That man was friends with a lot of different men around Chicago, I'm sure of it, right? Friends, close family members with that individual. And again, that behavior does not start that day. That man seemed to be doing that probably his whole, for a lengthy amount of time. He probably has a history of abusing the mother of his children or other women that he's possibly dated, right? And I'm sure his friends and family members know about it. And a lot of those men did not check him about it. His abusive behavior went unchecked for years, all right? And so if he doesn't get checked by people he really respects and loves and cares about, he gonna keep doing it because he gonna feel like it's okay for me to do this, okay? And even if he don't, if he probably, no, he not probably, he knows better for sure, right? But sometimes it takes men to police the people we hang around with to stop them from being irrational animals, okay? Sometimes dudes just ridiculous, off the chain, they just crazy individuals, and there's no saving them, right? Outside of getting help or being locked up, locked away. But some men can change the outcome of how their friends behaving, their friends' behavior with women. And there's no way I can hang with a man and be friends with a man that do that, or that I know has the type of behavior in him. There's no way I can see that and not check him. I see my friend beating on a girl, I'm going to get in his ass, pause, right? I'm going to get on his ass. We going to fight more than like, we're going to fight, you know? Because he probably going to, you know, I don't hang with men like that. I never have had that history. I never had to have to deal with men like that. But a man like that got to be checked by his friends around him so that he can know that shit ain't okay for you to be doing ever in your life. And he won't be out here in the street trying to delegate physical to administer violence to a woman at all. He would know better because his friends checked him, you know. So I think about it, it goes a lot of different ways. One, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you don't help this woman, she could possibly be beaten to death. If you help this woman, you could possibly stop her, or you could possibly, in the process of stopping her, or stopping this man from beating on his woman, you could possibly lose your life. So it's a slippery slope. I don't want to give it all to cowardice on the men's part, because I know how these Negroes act in Chicago. I know a lot of them are emotionally unstable. A lot of these men are crazy as hell. They need help. A lot of these men have been raised all the wrong ways. It speaks to the rearing of these men with their adolescence into adulthood, right? A lot of these men have been reared to believe it's okay. People have enabled their behavior all their life, and they think shit like that is okay. And when they get old, they run into the wrong person who does not care about sending them to glory. Okay? They run into the wrong person who does not care about taking their life at all. So then what? You know? Then he gone because nobody corrected him. So, yeah, man. And I can tell you, that man looked like he wasn't going to stop until she was on the ground for a while, you know, if that shot didn't get fired off. So, you know, man, listen. So I don't want to all owe it to cowardice on those men part. You do got some men out here who are flat out cowards, who turn their back on anything happening to anybody. You got men who will let men come and do things to their family members and they don't give a fuck about it or don't give a damn and say, hey, that ain't my business. You know, you do got men who are cowards, but you got men sometimes who feel like, damn, man, I want to intervene. But if I do, am I going to die in this situation? There's been men who have intervened and have gotten killed. And there's no one left to take care of their family, their children. People talk a good game. I'm going to help you with the kids. Somebody give one little donation at one time, and then it ceases. So it's like, man, it's a slippery slope. Sometimes some women will tell you, son, don't get involved. Call the police. Just call the police. Just call the police. Right? And some men will be like, no, I got to stop this. I got to stop this. And some men will be able to stop that man and deal with all the consequences that come with it. Fighting them, whatever. Some men like, yo, if I fight, this man might pull out a gun and kill me. He might got a knife on him and stab me to death. Who knows? So it's like, it's a gamble, man. And but I will say that, you know, it is important to protect the women in the community, the women and children. But I also will say this too, that the protection of women starts with policing your homeboys and checking your homeboys. It starts with rearing these children to be upright. Young black males in the inner city to be upright and not enable them with bullshit behavior and co-sign it and let us act like it's okay that they engage in this type of behavior, because it's not okay, you know. So yeah, man. But as a kid, I always noticed how a lot of times women were the ones who were, and this is the sad part about it, a lot of times women don't think twice about things. They just come in and whatever happens, happens. And that's why sometimes, unfortunately, we see situations where women have had their life taken in defense of other people as well, because sometimes women just think about themselves and what they would want to happen for them if they were in that type of situation. And that's why I said, if I seen a woman getting beaten up, I'm going to think about, damn, this could be somebody I love, a random stranger getting aggressive with them, trying to beat up on them. So, you know, it would make me go to that point and say, damn, I got to stop this. But then I also know and understand that, damn, my life could be taken. And I got 2 children. Who's going to take care of my baby? Something happened to me. Who's going to do that? Life insurance, but then what? Who going to help raise them and nurture them in the same way that I possibly would? So I'm saying somebody can do it. Man, I want to be here for my babies. I want to do that for them. I want to love and care for them. You know? So, I don't know, man. So, it's a real slippery slope, because a lot of these dudes in Chicago, they're not playing fair. These Negroes is crazy, off pills, off drugs, high as hell, smoking that damn weed that's got all type of different shit on it. I don't know. But, yeah. But as a kid, though, I always knew that women would be the ones to stand up for certain stuff in certain situations. I knew coming up in Chicago, I'm going to say this, y'all. As a young teenager, if you in Chicago in the inner city, on the south side, west side, southeast side, confrontation is inevitable. If you outside, if you on the bus, you on the train, you going to the store, the corner store, walking around, you're going to be approached with violence at some point in your life as a teen or a preteen. Gang violence, for sure. You're going to be approached. Some people are going to try to run your pockets. They're going to try to jump you. I didn't been jumped before in Chicago before. By 4 dudes. I was 14 years old. We want to go pick up my little sister, right? So I knew that, damn, if I ever get jumped one day, I know it's probably not going to be a man to help me. I know it's going to be a woman that's going to say, that could be my son. Let me get out the car and help this boy. And so that is a sad thing to think about. That even though our lives can be taken, the women going to put themselves in the line of fire before the man is. And something about that doesn't sit right in my spirit, even though I understand certain men not wanting to lose their life and not be away from their children. Something about that don't sit right with me, that the women going to come and stand up and ride for me. My mother has been on a bus before where it was a boy sleep on the bus. And some boys saw him sleep on the bus, opened the back door when the people was coming in on the front to jump on this boy. Jump on him just to beat him just because. And to take some stuff off of him. They come on the bus, jump on the bus trying to beat on the boy. A woman stands up and say, get the hell off of him. Get the hell off of him. Get away from him. She stands up and walks over there. And they look like they want to do something. So my mom and the other women on the bus all stood up in unison, like a tribe of lions, to get these young boys to back down, right? And the young boys, they started making little gun finger, throwing up gang signs to the women and standing back and jumping off they stopped and jumped off the bus. And the women were enraged because they say, the men on here, y'all not going to do shit. These young boys getting beat on. Y'all see this boy getting beat on. He not that type of kid. He's helpless. He just sleeping, man, in his own business. And these young street little Negroes is jumping on him. What if y'all gonna let it ride? What if this was your son? Right? And so the women had to ride. And something about that in my spirit don't sit right, that the women got to be the riders. Even though I know we can lose our life out here trying to help people. So it's a slippery slope, y'all. It's a slippery slope. I know if I help a young shorty, one of these young shorties might have a gun. My homie didn't help the young shorty when he was getting jumped on. And they tried to jump on my boy. And luckily the police came probably about 10 seconds after 15 seconds after the situation happened. But he saw a little boy from Urban Prep in Inglewood getting jumped on by one of them boys from Robeson or one of them boys from the different hoods all through Inglewood over there on 63rd at the red line. He saw an innocent boy getting jumped on and beat on. He tried to intervene, help the boy. We in high school at the time. I wasn't with him. I was on 87th Street. I was living on 87. So I get off before him. He get off at 63rd. He see the situation happening. He try to stop it. The boys try to jump him. Reality is them boys could have beat him to death or could have shot him. Because them boys be carrying guns. They could have had a knife and stabbed him. So it's a slippery slope, y'all. Excuse me. It's a slippery slope. A lot of different things can happen. But some don't sit right, that the women got to be the warriors in the situation. So, man, I don't know, man. I get it, man. But I can say if I see a woman getting beat, I'm going to be inclined to try to help her, try to stop her, try to talk the man to stop him from doing it. Not even punch him, but stop it. Because this is crazy, y'all.